What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're doing any sort of DFS or sports betting this season, make sure you're doing it over at FanDuel. I'm Blaiden Kirktrand, as always, by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And today, we're going over the 5 most disastrous teams from week 1 of the NFL season. We're talking about the Colts a little bit, the Dolphins a little, the Colts dismantling of the Dolphins. We're going to talk about the Giants without Daniel Jones, talk about the Titans. But before we get into all of that, Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing on this glorious Wednesday afternoon?
I'm doing well. I got to thank Tier Tart for slapping Travis Kelce because my video about him reached Swift Talk or whatever, and now it's at 4.5 million views. And it's just like...
You're Vivi.
I'm viral. I'm viral off of breaking down.
How long was this video?
It's like 3 minutes. It's like a 3-minute video. I know. I'm breaking down how he read Mahomes' body language and got PBUs because he couldn't beat Trey Smith. But I introed it with the Kelce slap, and that got it
intros
a little
big,
bit
man.
higher. Yeah, so 4.5 million views. That's like
that I would let Mac perform surgery on me.
I feel like I could retire. Like I'm happy. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. So, thank you to all of the people who watched that out there, who are interested in how defensive tackles can impact the game without getting sacks. And I hope you were, for everybody who did watch it, all 4 million of you, I hope you were paying attention to it during the rest of the weekend, because there's a lot of tipped passes, especially in the Vikings-Bears game, I thought. And it's always good to keep in mind that they're not just random. Guys are jumping up, reading the quarterback, like aiming their hands into throwing lanes. Like, there's a lot that goes into every little thing that happens in a football game. No one moves around for no reason. I don't think anybody even moves like their fingers. Like, no one moves 1 inch without a reason to do so, especially on a football field.
Some guys might move around for no reason.
I don't think so, man. I don't think anybody, like, in play, I think every little step, every little twitch, every little move of the arm is to accomplish something. I really don't think it.
What about the Titans receivers on Sunday?
They would ring around no goal in mind. There's always a reason, and that's I think a key to being an analyst is realizing that and finding some little details, knowing that.
For sure. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I don't got too much to report on this end. You guys want to talk a little bit about this Bears-Vikings game, the Monday night?
We can talk about the Bears game.
Yeah, well, the Bears are one of our teams that we pinned as a disaster unit. All right. They had all this hype going into the year. Caleb paired with Ben Johnson, but it appears that they are the same old Bears, and this is maybe their most frustrating loss yet. So I think it's well deserved that they are on this list, but, and I'll explain this later, I don't think they are quite the level of disaster as, say, the Dolphins. When I watched them back, I thought they
lost a close game.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as big of a disaster as like going out there to a team that, no offense, Colts, I still don't think is that good, and just like getting blown the hell out. But right. I mean, blowing a lead on Monday night to a division rival at home, bad.
Yeah, no doubt.
Really bad, especially considering the quarterback of your division rival, J.J. McCarthy, played terrible for 3 straight quarters. And then they were able to hang around just a little bit long enough so that when they scored 3 straight touchdowns in the fourth quarter, that was all they needed. So
yeah,
I guess the main question is, what are your thoughts on Caleb Williams?
Yeah, this is bad. This is a bad L, obviously, but how bad is it for their future? You know,
right?
It's not good for. We were talking about this before the record. It is not a good game for Caleb. You can throw the EPA per play at me all you want, but like the issue with the problems that Caleb showed in this game is that, like, he's got to fix something mechanically. It's not like he made a couple of bad decisions and it's like, okay, well, maybe in a couple weeks time, he just won't make those mistakes or whatever. Okay. Like the Vikings got him. Instead, he's just missing throws that he shouldn't. And while like, I agree, this isn't some like ultimate like mega disaster or whatever, because like he still had some good throws and he started off a little bit hotter and his rushing ability looked phenomenal in this game, which gives him like a pretty decent floor. When we're talking about Williams with Ben Johnson and all these weapons, and we're going into year 2, the goal is not to be having a conversation like we're having right now. So if the bar is like, did he have a meltdown that makes him like a total bust? Like, yeah, then the answer is probably no. But if the bar is like who Caleb Williams is supposed to be as a guy who was billed as a particularly good number 1 overall prospect, a particularly good QB prospect, maybe we'll say better than the average QB1 in any given class, then like, yeah, this is a disappointment. And I mean, I feel like I'm kind of between takes here where I didn't think it was so awful that it's like I'm not waiting to see what he does against, for the rest of the season, of course.
Right.
But like, yeah, if you leave this game with concern that, hey, his, lower and upper half don't line up and his feet are constantly pointing away from where he's throwing, and that might be really tough to fix on the fly, we'll see, but it might be tough to fix. I think that's valid.
Yeah. I also feel like he does this, like that 4th and 3 play really bugs me because it feels like he just put every ounce of arm strength behind that throw that he possibly could have. And it didn't feel like he needed to. Like sometimes I feel like his mechanical problems come from him overextending himself. Like you know how, Matt, you say that Bryce Young, sometimes it feels like he has to do so much to overcome his athletic ability. It feels like Caleb Williams is doing that even though he doesn't need to.
I feel like with Williams, the sprays to the flat are the biggest concern, right? Like there's a guy just 10 yards away from you. Why is the ball that far over his head? Why are you, like you said, Blaiden, throwing the ball a million miles an hour when you don't need to? But to me, I feel like mechanics, I pause a little bit because I don't want Caleb to necessarily have great mechanics. Like we're talking about Caleb. We're talking about Caleb Williams.
No way. This is where it gets ridiculous.
If his footwork is a mess, or it's not always perfect, I don't know. I feel like he just isn't going to play quarterback like Jared Goff. You know what I mean? Like
nobody's asking him to do that.
And I feel like when it comes, I know that he can hit things in the flat with his feet totally fucked up because his feet can be sprinting. His feet can be any type of way. And
I can hit a drive down the fairway without correcting my form. It'll happen, but
I think he's kind of formless. All right. And I think he needs to calm the fuck down. All right. That's what I think he needs to do.
I agree on that.
And I think that a couple misses, and I also think that a couple misses in the flat aren't the end of the world with him because I think that he played pretty good. I'm going to say that. I think he played pretty damn good in that game. I'm dead serious. Like,
I think he outplayed McCarthy.
I think he definitely outplayed McCarthy. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Did he outplay? I'm trying to think of did he outplay half the league this weekend? I don't think so.
I don't know if he outplayed half the league, but here's where I'm at. Like, there was a lot of shit that went wrong for the Bears in that game. They had, I think, 12 penalties for 127 yards. They missed a field goal. A punt got blocked. They allowed 17 yards per punt return. Mm-hmm. Caleb was their leading rusher. DeAndre Swift had 51 yards on 17 carries. They had a 5th percentile rushing outcome as a team that majors in 12 personnel against a defense that was playing too high the whole game. Like, if you can't mash a team on the ground with that build against that defense, it is tough sledding. And it was tough sledding for Caleb Williams, and he still found a way to have average results. I mean, no picks, EPA number, I'm going to throw them at you, like EPA number that was 52nd percentile, so about league average against a good defense, so you can give him a bit of a bonus, I think. Like, these misses to the flat are concerning for sure. Him being amped up and skying those passes is bad. But I just think, like, the good outweighed
he was inaccurate
that.
last year too. I mean, I saw a stat that he leads the league in overthrows by like 20 of them. I just think that, like, okay, how do you know that he's just amped up and that it's not something fundamentally wrong with him when we've seen the issue last year?
I just feel like he's got to calm down. Like, he's got to calm down just generally. And I think football is a hard game. And I think going up against that defense and feeling the lead slipping just does bad things to you mentally. And I wish he was calmer. I wish he looked in total control. I wish he was throwing with touch all the time. He is not, and that's an issue. And that's why he's not a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson or anything like that. But if you gave Brian Flores truth serum and asked him what he really thought about Caleb, I think he'd say Caleb looked dangerous. Like, Caleb was the only offense. He was the only offense that the Bears had all night.
It doesn't matter. It's entirely, look, I understand if they can sit in too high, it's an issue. But if you miss throws, it doesn't matter if DeAndre Swift averages 1 yard a carry. Every discussion we're having about this is just trying to get away from the mistakes that Caleb made. And I think, like, look, we've seen all types of different development happen in the NFL. We've seen Josh Allen's entire form change or whatever. And there's examples of guys who are not great early on who then become very good quarterbacks. But most of the quarterbacks in the top 10 are good at this stage in their career. Most of the QBs that we would consider the 10 best, they're good by now. And I think it's totally fair to say the bar for Caleb on an offense that has a lot of good weapons isn't like a complete disaster in terms of like an offensive line that just completely can't pass block, or like, you know, like the Titans receiver room, or like whatever the hell. The bar for him is to be really good this year. Really good. So when we go into a game and he's like missing throws, maybe he scrambles out and makes up for a lot of that. Maybe he has some throws that are money and he rolls out to the sideline and has one of the best throws of the week. That I can't deny. Like, as a creator, we know what Caleb is, and he looked awesome that way. But when people are saying it's really bad that he's sitting in there and missing like throws to the flat and these throws deep, it doesn't have to be the end of the world. But I think it's totally valid to say, with the expectations that you have on a guy like this, that this was not a good game by his standard. If we're judging it by across the league, like, fine. Like, if he didn't outplay 16 guys, that's not a good week for a guy with his expectations. It's not. Maybe it gets better going forward, but I just don't see this as like a great Caleb Williams game.
It's definitely not a great game, but he was the Bears' offense. There was no running game. I didn't think the receivers played particularly notable. There was no yak. I thought Flores was dialed in to exactly what Ben Johnson wanted to do. And I think Caleb heroics are the only reason they scored any points at all. I mean, that first drive gets slandered for being like, Caleb passed the scripted plays. Terrible, right? Ben Johnson scripted. The only reason they scored it all was Caleb Williams rolling out and hitting that throw to Rome and then scrambling again. And he got across the field, like, and threatened to score several more times over the course of that night. But again, they had penalties that set them back. They turned it over on 4th down in scoring range. They missed a field goal in scoring range. Like, a lot of the second-year quarterbacks sucked against Flores in this Vikings defense last year. Like, Jordan Love had 2 games that looked a lot like this in the 2 weeks they played the Vikings last year. CJ Stroud played a horrible game against Brian Flores last year. Like,
that's fair.
It's tough. It's tough. And I think for him to do what he did and bring them down the field, I think it was marked improvement over a lot of what we saw last year. Like, we're mad at him for missing throws. I get it. Like, he's not an above average quarterback at this point because of it. But and the tripping, right? The grounding. That's it.
Then if he's not an above average quarterback at this point, that is bad. I'm not saying it's over. That is not good. If I told you when he was drafted that he would not be an above average quarterback come the first game of his second season, you'd say, that's not good. And you'd say that about any QB at all, much less one that was billed as this general. And look, I was high on him. I'm not saying this to like be like, you're the only, like, obviously not. And, but like, the bar here can't be like, well, the Vikings defense is so good, and look, these other guys played terrible, so it's fine if he messes up. And I'll be real with you, like, I think some of the Yag stuff was an issue with placement a lot of the time. I don't think it's necessarily just like, I don't think it's just like, oh, the receivers are really bad, and that was a problem. A lot of the time, he's just throwing it underneath to rack up some completions, and it's like, yeah, it's a nice 5-yard gain. It was good for the first couple of drives, and when you pair that with the fact that, again, like, he looked insane running the ball, and he had some really good out of structure plays, like, and even that one,
he had some good in structure plays too, though. Like it
was not a great in structure game for him.
I think it was about the same. I think it was about the same, good and bad, like in structure, out of structure. Like the throw to DJ Moore that he missed, that cover 2 hole shot, right?
Yeah, I know.
Moore was freelancing on that route. That was a mirrored route concept. It should have looked the same on the right and left side. Moore should have ran a corner. He saw the coverage and tried to break it off. I doubt that Caleb had ever worked on that throw before. Like, I doubt that the safety was closing. Moore isn't exactly where he needs to be. Like, overthrowing that, I wish he hit it, but it's just not the biggest deal in the world. Like,
well, I think that's more of that needs to be more a criticism of DJ Moore saw that pre-snap, right? Like, that's the only way you're adjusting the route that quickly to swap that route. You're not seeing that happen in real time and being like, I guess I'm running a slot fade now.
mm-hmm.
So that's something where Caleb also needs to recognize that they have an opportunity to take advantage of that pre-snap.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that I thought, like, Caleb didn't do as well, but I thought that, like, Cam Ward was really good at, like, diagnosing stuff pre-snap.
And I thought Caleb was good at diagnosing. Like, I didn't think he had any pre-snap issues in this entire game. Like, there are games where Flores blitzes and the quarterback has no answer because he can't, like, set the protection. Like, I thought there were moments in this game where Flores was throwing some, feigned blitzes at him, and Caleb saw it and either adjusted or didn't adjust the protection accordingly, like, based on if it was a feigned blitz or a real one. Like, for the most part, I thought they had things dialed up pretty well. Like, I didn't think situationally it looked like they couldn't get off the ground. He hit a big corner route to DJ Moore, like, under major pressure. Like, he hit against cover 3 in the safety rotation. He hit a shot up the seam to Kmet. It was a really good catch from Kmet as well, but Caleb released it early and put it in a catchable spot. The throw to Moore at the end of the game where both of them got smoked was, like, completely insane. Like, I thought there were some high end in structure plays from him and also some complete misses. And when it comes to judging Caleb, like, I feel like he's got to be on par with Love. He's got to be on par with Jordan Love. You cannot fall behind him in the division, right? The Packers can't have a guy and the Bears don't. And I just think that Caleb is having games like I saw from Love in the past. Like, I still think he can become a franchise guy. I think, like, Ben Johnson, he's a great schemer, right? He's supposed to be, but he didn't bring the rest of the Lions with him, right? He couldn't mash people with the run game, and play action off of that just wasn't working on the Vikings. They weren't biting on it whatsoever. So a lot of the dump offs were necessary. I don't think Caleb was necessarily, like, just hunting dump offs to up his completion percentage. I genuinely think the Vikings are, like, especially good at taking that away. So I just, like, you're right. He should be. I wish he was an above average quarterback here solidly. I wish he wouldn't do this, but in terms of, like, just, Caleb threw the game. Like, Caleb messed the whole game up. I don't think so. I think that he gave them a shot to win with his performance, but also lost the game as well. I don't know.
Like, he made enough mistakes for them to not win as well. Like, I don't think he gave them, I think he just as much gave them a shot to win as he did like give them a shot to lose, is kind of how I look at it. And that just can't be
he was their whole offense. He was their whole offense for better or worse. And it was for better in the first and it was bad in the second. And I just feel like it shouldn't be
quarterback.
He's a quarterback, but quarterbacks shouldn't be the whole offense. JJ McCarthy won a game because of the special teams, because of the run game, right? Because they didn't have 127 yards in penalties, because their starting corner wasn't hurt. Like, all of these things are crucial to holding a lead.
Yeah, I don't think JJ McCarthy wins the game for the Bears. I'll give you that. I think this is just going, like, again, he needs to be more consistent. I think there were times where he wasn't pushing the ball when he could have. I think there were times where he was dumping it off for the sake of getting a completion. I think there were times where he misfired because his feet weren't set right. And while he has this great rushing ability and he clearly is like an uber talented guy when it comes to like the creative throw down the field type stuff. I mean, again, that one he had on the sideline, that was cash money and it was crazy accurate and he wasn't set right. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, like, coming into this season, the bar for Caleb is high, rightfully so. Expectations should be high for a player like this. And part of the concern, in fact, the biggest knock is like, what's his consistency going to be like? So when I see a game where I think he did some great things, but he wasn't consistent, and then they lose, it's like, yeah, that sucks. Now the loss maybe isn't entirely on him. In fact, a lot of it isn't. And I don't think this is like Armageddon or game over. Like, Caleb is still good enough where I don't think there's like 32 QBs in the NFL better than him.
Not even.
So I think he's going to continue to get a lot of reps as a chance to improve himself. Whereas other guys who I view as projects, maybe it's like, you kind of got to start growing right this second, or, you know, you're out of here, right? Maybe an Anthony Richardson, who is like, you know, just such a disaster when it comes to not, you know, being able to hit throws. It's like, okay, we're hitting half of our throws, and it's like, this can't, or whatever, right? Not to rag on him, but I think Williams, like, I didn't watch this game and I'm like, okay, Williams isn't going to be okay. Like, it's over. But I didn't think it was a good game. I just can't get there. And, you know, maybe I'm working off the expectations of where we were, like what we'd hope he'd be when he was drafted. And maybe you're battling against like Twitter or whatever, not like hating, just saying.
Always. I'm always battling against Twitter.
So not a great game. It's one game. I agree. It's a tough defense. Got to be more consistent. Got to push the ball more. Got to be more accurate. He's got to be.
And I do think consistency in accuracy comes with consistency in form and mechanics to some extent. Like, you can hit an accurate pass with bad mechanics. You can, but it's easier to do it every single time when you're doing it correctly, I guess. So that would be my knock. But
I didn't even think DeAndre Swift was that bad in this game, by the way.
I don't think he was that bad, but I think the line was.
One run where he
had a couple of good runs.
Yeah, I don't think it was Swift's problem, like getting east and west or whatever. I just think the Vikings got in a lot of like 5-man fronts to try to isolate these Bears offensive linemen, and like Dahlman and Jonah Jackson especially had bad games. Darnell Wright wasn't great. Braxton Jones wasn't great. Like, I think the run blocking and the blocking for the pass blocking too, like stunt pickup, was pretty poor in front of Caleb. Like, and for Caleb to win this game, he would have needed to dominate from beginning to end. He would have needed to been consistent right from beginning to end. But the game would have needed to be in his hands. It wasn't the line. It wasn't the running back. It wasn't the receivers. It wasn't the defense. It wasn't the special teams, right? It was, he needed to win this game and he didn't. And who are the quarterbacks that we know when it's everything going wrong, we know they can win the game? It's not a very long list, I feel like. If he would have been consistent this entire game, like looking the way he did, scrambling the way he did, it's like, oh my goodness. like the Lamar Jackson upside, the Josh Allen upside is getting realized. Like that would have been my reaction if he stayed consistent, but he didn't. So he's not those guys. He's not even close to those guys, because this would have been light work to hit some of those throws. But I feel like even them, if they had all those like special teams errors and penalty errors, like it could have been a close game against the Vikings. They could have struggled to close it against the Vikings. I think they ultimately would have got it done. But it's just not all Caleb's fault. Those misses were bad,
No,
but
it's not all his fault. I'm looking at it right now. His time to throw, according to PFF, was second so far this season, behind only Jalen Hurts. But he was pressured 20 times, which is also second in the NFL behind Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I don't know. It's just like, oh, he's got Ben Johnson now. I thought he's got a line now. Like all the excuses are over. It's like they're not all over.
There's always more
excuses.
There's always more excuses. But here's the thing: your argument, your defense is going to get harder, man, because now he's got everyone's like, oh well, the weapons are good, the O line's good, the coach
but it's
is
not.
good.
The line is not good, right? The line is not good. All those penalties are not good. The kicker is a liability. Like these things, people don't want to hear them. They want the quarterback to just win, but they're all still true. I don't think it was a bad game by the weapons. Like no doubt Caleb missed some open guys, but I'm more optimistic that he can have a better season than last year after watching this game. The order in which the misses happened are bad. If he missed these throws in the first half and made them all in the second half, people would have a much rosier view of how the game went. Like JJ McCarthy,
would they have won that game?
JJ McCarthy won NFC Offensive Player of the Week this week because of what he did in the fourth quarter. Like, did he have a good game? No. Sorry, but no.
Did he actually win NFC Offensive?
Yes, he won NFC Offensive Player of the Week because the team won and he played well at the end. And Caleb played well in the first half, but not the second. Like that matters to some people, for better or worse. Like it doesn't matter to me. I think what he put on tape, he put on tape. And there's some stuff that's scary and there's just some stuff that's not.
In those people's defense, though, I'm thinking about how many NFC, I guess you might argue Penix probably had a better game than him.
A lot of people had a better game than JJ McCarthy. I'm sorry. Baker had a game-winning drive too, 3 touchdowns, no pick six. Like
that, I was trying to think, like off the top of my head, like which NFC players outperformed or like had good games this week.
Jordan Love outperformed JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts probably would have been a much better pick as well.
Jalen Hurts outperformed JJ McCarthy. Like shout out JJ for staying the course and like lifting the team up on the sideline and being like keeping them in it, right, and playing well at the end. But he did not for 4 quarters. He was not the best player in the NFC.
He was bad for 3. He was the worst player in the NFC for 3 3 quarters.
Right. One good quarter should not win you that award. And it's fine. Like it's whatever. But again, like that just goes to show you. I feel like the amount that like timing matters to when you put something on tape. But in reality, I just think what you do overall over the course of the game is.
Well, they could have given it to Travis Etienne. He went for a 40.
Puka had 110 receptions for 130 yards or whatever, and they beat the Texans defense, like not a Bears defense missing their 2 best corners. Like there is no reason to give McCarthy that award.
That's true.
And it
was
also his first game. The recovery was good.
The recovery was historic. And I get it.
He did get better like throughout the game. Like kind of what we said with Arch Manning. Like if he can get better in one game, then maybe he can get better over the course of the season. But still, his comeback player of the year case got to be looking pretty good though.
Comeback player of the year? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm sure he's
got to be looking pretty good.
Went up. But
But we spent 90 years on the Chicago Bears, so Bears fans will give you a little bit of a break. Let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward's debut against probably the best defense in football, the Denver Broncos. They were trying to put him in hell, and I think by all accounts, many people would agree he was sacked 6 times, and the Titans offense as a whole was very, very bad. But I think Cam Ward looked really good. I think he looked really good. Some of the throws he was making was as pinpoint and accurate as you could ask for. And he had, I think, one of the best throws of the entire week, scrambling in the back of his end zone and throwing across his body, on a frozen rope to Calvin Ridley. That throw was ridiculous. So I think he played really well despite the score and despite the stat line. I really think the receiving core let him down. And I am leaning towards Brian Callahan. You might be on the hot seat early, dog.
I don't know if I would call that throw to Ridley a frozen rope.
Maybe not quite frozen, but it was cold. It was a cold rope.
It was, it was more of it's good to see that rather than a crazy throw itself.
I thought it was a pretty crazy throw.
It wasn't a
crazy. How many?
I thought Ward played fine for a rookie in an incredibly tough position. He's going up against Denver's defense week 1, right? Yeah. And he's on the Titans. So it's pretty tough. And he had a number of throws that I liked. I know one of the balls he rocketed up the seam was kind of off place, but another one, honestly, I didn't like that he lasered that thing in there. If he had put touch on it and air under it, like people were saying, I feel like you'd hear the hospital ball chants. It had to get there, and he got it there. Absolutely, his receivers were letting him down. And honestly, I agree, the play calling, I just feel like in some circumstances, there's nowhere to get the ball out quickly or hot when he got heated up. Some of these are we're going to go max protection and we're going to have everything kind of to one side. But it's if those 3 dudes get locked up, it's game over.
Dude, they had a play with 2 receivers running routes, and they were both over 15 yards down the field. And
a lot of it was deep.
Immediately.
There was one where it's two players ran digs and ran into each other. It's some of the spacing on this stuff was bizarre, and it was in bad circumstances. Okay, they're in field goal range down 1 and they're pulling this shit out instead of giving him easy buttons. But he also missed a couple of throws deep, and I think he maybe held the ball a little bit too much rather than just getting it out quickly. I don't think it was a perfect game.
No,
I thought it was more good than bad.
I thought it was a lot more good than bad. They had one
for a rookie in this situation.
Given the situation, dude. I thought it was a very heartwarming performance from Cam Ward. Very.
I don't know.
Heartwarming. Heartwarming, man. There's a play, Matt. I think you brought up the red zone stuff. They ran post wheel on both sides of the formation against quarters coverage, and no one's open, and so Cam there's pressure off the right side, and at first from the broadcasting I'm yeah, don't want to see you doubling back in the pocket, dude. But then I go back to the all-22. I'm dude, there was one thing that he maybe could have done, which is the tight end could have been hit on the wheel instantly, before he broke up the left sideline. But outside of that, everything was blanketed, just straight up. And I'm just there's nothing accessible for him on so many of these plays.
He missed one in the end zone in the second quarter really bad.
He did.
He took a humongous sack, and
he did.
I forget what it was on, but the Broncos got tripped up, and he had a guy, and then he had somebody else coming across over the middle, and he didn't hit either of them.
I'm thinking of they did a boot to the left side, and he had a receiver kind of streaking in the back, but I think he couldn't see over the defenders in front of him. And so that's where you start to wonder about the height being an issue. He doesn't quite have the physical prowess of like a Herbert or an Allen or anything. And so there's definitely limitations that you can see already. But I mean, he also hit like an absolutely money dig route against Tampa 2. Like Tampa player, it was inverse Tampa 2. Tampa player drops, he fires it to Calvin Ridley right in the middle of the field, just in between the two linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was a good throw.
Dude, it was money.
I don't want to come across.
Dropped.
I don't want to come across too negative about Ward, which I probably am. I thought it was a good game. Like, and Ward, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period with him. We know that. He's somebody who's coming in. He's very freelance and he's got good feel, but the NFL speeds up and it's not the ACC anymore. And it's the and this is a brutal week 1 matchup. I mean, probably as bad as it could possibly be almost. So I thought there was signs of life, but yeah, he got crushed a lot.
There were signs of life. To me, the biggest storyline was the play calling and Callahan's performance. It just didn't make much sense to me.
I'm
bad spacing and just too many low route
his
plays.
Dad's Bill Callahan. How are you?
Right.
How are you this bad?
He said
What's frustrating.
There was an incomplete pass at one point, and he didn't challenge it, but Ailmanor had an elbow down, so it should have been complete. And they asked him about it after the game, and he said, like, 1 elbow doesn't equal 2 feet. Now, do we all here at Stay Hot know that 1 elbow does equal 2 feet?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that.
Wait. I did not hear this. When did he say this? Is this like a press conference after the game?
After the game, they asked him why he didn't challenge it, and he said 1 elbow doesn't equal 2 feet, but 1 elbow does equal 2 feet. So that's concerning that he didn't know that.
Rules.
I was concerned right before halftime. Right, they're in the shadow of their own goal line, and you're playing Denver's defense, which didn't look like it had regressed much. I'll say that. No, Benito. Looking pretty good, looking like a steel monster, right? He's dropping back 3 straight times, like almost took two safeties, right? It was a miracle that they poked that ball out of the end zone and got it at the 1-inch line so they could get a punt off. All right, like, what are you doing all that for? Like, before the end of the half, why aren't you running clock? Why aren't you, not taking any risks against this defense? And why aren't you why aren't you just taking this lead into halftime? Why aren't you making them use their timeouts? Why are you letting them get a short field and all this time on the clock? Like, that was bizarre coaching, just bizarre. And then they punted in some situations where they definitely should have gone for it. They got bailed out by a Marvin Mims muff. But like, just situational awareness from the coaching staff on top of some of the issues with the offense overall. That, to me, is why the Titans belong on this list more than anything else. Of like, I just don't think Ward has a coach that's going to be there next year for him. Like,
oh no, he's getting fired. He's getting fired.
And it's just frustrating. It's just the lack of like stuff underneath on some of these plays, especially when you have a guy who's getting pressured a ton and is good at like scrambling and making a play and hitting those guys, but like, a lot of the time, separation just isn't there on some of these plays. And then when it's not, buying time can only do so much when you just don't have that many guys out there running routes.
Right.
And again, the spacing was bad. I mean, guys, Looney Tunes. I'm pretty sure that was on the last drive, but I honestly forget. So I thought Ward looked perfectly fine. I don't want to say it was like an awesome game or a terrible game, but I agree. The play calling was super disappointing. I think they'll look better against defenses that aren't as bad, but
I also think the offensive line is concerning, dude. Like, it wasn't just Benito. Like, Gahanna Lincoln High School legend. I'm not trying to like slander him here, but like Jonathan Cooper was giving J.C. Latham the business. Like that, it was like, because he got hurt in this game. Like he ended up, I think it was like the second quarter he ended up leaving. But like before that, it was like, I feel like every time I'm watching through the film on this and I'm like, dude, Jonathan Cooper has won every single rep against J.C. Latham.
Yeah, I mean, the
Cooper's
reason
not a bad player.
Cooper's not a bad player at all, but the reason
Cooper's a good player, but like
he's
every rep, dude, like come on.
Well, the reason that to keep Callahan around is because, like, well, if you fire him, you lose his dad. The offensive line genius,
And that's
like,
the
well,
other
if the
concern
line
is like, dude, if the line is bad, then maybe you don't want. Then like, why are you keeping him around if the line is bad anyway?
Yeah, maybe it's not.
Six different guys came down with a sack.
That's a good stat.
Benito, baller. Broncos defense, ballers. 6 different guys coming down with a sack. Not good.
Yeah. Defense though, Bo Nix looked rough.
Bo Nix did look.
I'm pretty excited for the Titans defense. They looked pretty good.
They looked good. And they didn't have to be as bad as they were last year. Like last year, the special teams was a total disaster. Will Levis obviously was giving them the ball, giving the defense the ball in bad spots, right? They have to defend a short field. So the points per game number, the defense was never as bad as the points per game number would indicate. So I was glad to see them like look good, but also Nix, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, those were bad turnovers. He was throwing it right to those guys.
If they had lost this game, we would be having very disgusting conversations about
seriously, and they were close. They were close. And I feel like he just regressed into such bad habits. I don't think he threw with his feet set until the touchdown to Sutton right at the end of the first half. Like, he was constantly throwing on the move. And that is one thing he needs to get better at, is confidence in the pocket, not throwing on a full sprint all the time, and just not staring things down. I mean, it was a lot of zone coverage, and he had some route running into space, and he just assumed there was nothing but space. But, you know, there was a safety or a corner leveraging it that he just missed. He just missed and threw a lot of picks just straight into leverage where it was always going to be intercepted or his wide receiver would get killed. So, like, again, like I said it on the Patreon record, Blaiden, like, what differentiates Nix from a backup? He's winning games. I've seen backups come in. I've seen Case Keenum come in with Zimmer's defense and lead the team deep in the playoffs because of screens, because of, you know, a couple deep shots, right? I've seen those types of situations play out before. You've got to be a quarterback who's worth $50 million, 20% of the cap, because that's the going rate, right? Nix has not looked anything like that over the course of his career, not just this game, over the course of his career. So Nix needs to lock in, and he needs to stop being a passenger of the defense and a passenger of the screen game. To me, there's a lot of pressure on him after that performance, because the Titans defense is nice, sure, but what is it going to look like if they go up against, you know, the Chargers?
Well,
they've got a better defense,
ultimately, right? I think that's fair, because the goal for the Broncos is to go and beat really good teams in the AFC playoffs.
Win the Super Bowl, win the division.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Super Bowl, I don't think they have to win the Super Bowl.
Be a dark horse. They're a dark horse. They're the dark Broncos, right? Dark horse,
right? Because their defense is so good. So I mean, maybe this is the better way to put it, and maybe this is lame, but like, really, they're the X factor. What probably controls their ceiling? What definitely controls their ceiling is Bo, because they've got this great defense, and I think they're a well coached team, and I think they're relatively talented on offense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. They got a great line. Their run game, like Harvey had a sick run, that 50-yarder. They didn't break off a run that long all of last year. Like, he did a great job.
He's going to be a difference maker for them. It's going to be
J.K. Dobbins touchdown.
Yeah, the running backs looked really strong. The line is good.
Way better than last year.
The defense is great. Like, Nix has to stop holding them back, because none of this means anything if you're in the hunt instead of in the playoffs. So.
Yeah. Like, to your, I'll definitely say Caleb Williams outplayed Bo Nix this week.
Well, 100%
about that.
100%.
So,
but he lost.
But he lost, and so no one cares.
Yeah,
You want to talk a little bit about the Giants? You want to talk about bad offensive lines? Holy cow. I think the stat is that they got pressured on like half of their dropbacks or damn near close to it. And the run game was pretty pathetic. I thought the play that really summed it up, they're on the goal line. I think they give it to Scatabo, and Mbao like misses his block. Like he doesn't get off the ball fast enough, but he like grabs on and gets slingshotted back towards Scatabo and basically like makes the tackle himself. Yes. Just not acceptable. And there's nothing that you can work with, you know, in terms of like, we're going to build out this. Cause I think about the Giants team that was good all those years ago with Daniel Jones or whatever. Like, we're going to build out this play action game. We're going to make everything. You can't do any of that if you're averaging 2 yards a carry from the running backs, which is what you were. And then on top of that, you have Russell Wilson, who's kind of limited, and he's getting pressured every single play, you know? So it's pretty bleak what we saw. And I think maybe, I don't know, we aren't really ranking these. We're just going through 5, I guess, but they might have been my number 1 in terms of like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, the expectation was that they upgraded at quarterback this offseason, and I don't know. Like, it's difficult when you watch Daniel Jones over in Indianapolis lighting it up against the Dolphins, who we'll talk about in a little bit, but like,
I actually want to apologize to Brian Daboll. I wouldn't throw Dart out on this. Fuck that. Like, what would be the like? It's not going to go good like, if you throw him out with this offensive line. So I don't know what like, you do.
You saw what the Titans offense looked like with Cam Ward, dude. Like, it would be just as bad, if not worse.
It's just not workable if you're getting pressured half the time and you're averaging 2 yards a carry, and you just don't have guys who can get off the line and don't have guys who can create any push.
Yeah,
you're just not going to dent defensive lines.
What a disaster of a game, man. I mean, going into it when Andrew Thomas was out, things were looking bleak. This is a stat I pulled from the For the Numbers Fantasy Almanac. So they've got a 37% win rate over the last 2 seasons with Andrew Thomas. Bad, but mid, right? They have a 16% win rate when Andrew Thomas misses games, and he misses a lot of games. All right, without him at left tackle, the team genuinely has one threat, and that's Neighbors, right? There's nobody who can help anybody out. There's nobody who we can say, well, at the very least, Andrew Thomas can survive on an island, and we can, you know, slide the line the other way, and at least no blind side is good. That doesn't exist anymore. There's no engines. There's no, you know, power centers that other things can flow off of. It's just Neighbors, and you can double Neighbors, right? And then it's a balance of, well, is it even worth throwing it to him when he's the only guy that the defense can key in on, and then he's freaking out because he's not getting targeted? But it legitimately might not be a good idea to target him because that's the one guy that everybody knows that you have to take away. So it ends up being that, you know, Wan'Dale Robinson is the focal point of the offense, and that's probably the way it should be. Like, it's bad. Neighbors, league average, next gen stats charted Neighbors with 2.35 yards of separation over the course of the game. Like, the league average is 2.98. So it's not like Neighbors is like cooking and they're not getting him the ball. It's like he's legitimately taken away. And then Slayton is at 0.6 yards of separation. Terrible. The average is 3. He's almost at 0. So there's nothing. I mean, the line is getting cooked. Nobody is open except for Wan'Dale underneath, and you can't run the ball. And then on defense, did anybody have a sack? I mean, they weren't even getting push on the quarterback from what I saw. Like, Daniels was chilling.
I thought they got home. Some of that Brian Burns had at least one.
Did he? I'm looking at the next gen stats thing right now, and their featured player is Roy Robertson Harris. Okay, Abdul Carter had half a sack. Oh, Burns had 2. All right, my bad. That's not a featured player. That's just who my mouse was hovering on. So I apologize. Yeah. Burns had sacks.
I'm trying to wrap my head around the almost 0 yards of separation, because I'm like, You get yards of separation stats just like running against zone coverage. So like,
why play zone? Man, and have the safety rotate. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just
I got to dig more into this film. I was watching it live for the first half and was just like, this is not worth watching. Like the Giants are clearly terrible. Like there's clearly nothing they can do on offense to make this a successful situation. So
right.
Especially now without Thomas. Yeah.
I turned that game off at halftime and I'm working off what I saw before halftime.
And losing Theo Ash as a viewer is probably
they lost my business. I took my talents to all the other games. I guess I watched
all the other games.
I watched everything but that. After the goal line stand where they got a fresh start on a holding penalty, it was like third down, and then there was a penalty, and it was first down, and then it was like a fake pass to Bo that was like erased. They knew the trick play was coming on the first like drive of the season or whatever, and then Scatabo trucked Bo on the second play, the play you were talking about, and then like a third down play was incomplete, and then it got to fourth down again. They had gone for it on fourth down before. They didn't get it, but the penalty bailed them out. And then they went another 3 plays without getting it. Daboll said, "I saw enough," and just kicked it this time, despite going for it last time. That's when they lost me as well. I'm like, okay, if they lost Daboll, if it was optimal to go for this the first time, but he had seen enough that it's not optimal to go anymore the second time, I have seen enough that I don't have to watch much more Giants football season this whole year. But yeah, then maybe they could throw in Dart, but it's like, what is Dart gonna do besides, like, even if he could be Patrick Mahomes, and like Patrick Mahomes is not cooking.
Well, it's just like, and I don't know, I don't even know who you work in and how you deal with that when the offensive line is as bad as it was. I mean, it's like in complete outlier, awful territory. Nothing works. But I don't know if you just cannot see them all year, but it can't be this bad. You can't be playing at this level and do anything against anybody. Play action won't work.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dart at the minimum could just run a lot. I'm sure he could just run. And if you can design up some quick game stuff, I mean, like he's fine with some placement, like when getting the ball out quick and whatever, but you know, we're already not the highest on him. And I think the situation would just be dooming him, right? I think it's dooming Russell Wilson.
They play the Dallas Cowboys this week. I wonder if we're going to get some, dude, they might have actually been right to trade Micah Parsons narratives after this game.
Wow. Cowboys' new look D-line against this offensive line will be something. I got
Kenny Clark, man. Kenny Clark.
Yeah, I was about to say, Kenny Clark's about to look like the better player in the trade.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be Kenny Clark. Donovan Ezuraku's gonna look
Nealand.
like
I've got the Cowboys revamped D-line in this battle. But yeah, like what would Dart do if he's out there? Like what did he show in preseason? Like he showed some nice things for sure. Some nice throws up the middle and things like that, but he didn't necessarily look like Jaden Daniels running the football. He didn't necessarily. Daboll had the reins on him throwing screens. Like, you're gonna unleash him? Unleash what? Like, we didn't see that much. It was preseason is preseason. You know what I mean? Like, none of that shit matters right now.
Everyone's being held back to some extent. So.
Yeah, I'd rather.
I don't want to turn this into Dart hate for no reason. Like he didn't even.
No, we can
play,
turn it.
Man.
It's
not hate. He's just genuinely not fixing the shot. Like
he is not. That's
but here's the thing.
That's not saying much.
People aren't going to be clamoring to see him because they think he can fix the Giants' offense. They're going to be like, well, if we're going to be bad, we might as well at least see how Dart looks.
You don't want to you don't want to see how he looks. Trust me, Giants. Like I think. The way we stand right now, the idea of Jackson Dart is better than Dart realized on that field. Like keep the best part
of the season. If this is how the offensive line will block, maybe the best part of the season will be complaining about not seeing Dart.
Yes, exactly.
That's what you should enjoy. But we haven't even seen Dart. We're good.
Protect your peace. Say we haven't seen Dart yet. Like
You'll go into the offseason and be like, dude, but like, think about how much better it's going to be next year with Dart starting.
Yes, keep that in, because maybe it will be. Maybe it will be, but like I don't know, man. I think at least give it a few weeks. At least give it a few weeks. If you're going to be doing this bridge shit, like week 7 is a good time. Like at that point, everybody's bored of the Giants. You know, like think about and you put them in week 2, like all eyes are on the Giants. Like everybody has crazy expectations for Dart if they put them in today. You put them in week 8, like the Giants are kind of out of contention. Like he can have an interception game without national media saying a word about it, right? Like he can protect everybody. Like keep them on ice for at least a few more weeks.
Keep him on ice. It's like Walt Disney.
Disney's on.
But I am curious of any of these teams we talked about. Do you think any of them have the chance to be winless this year, outside, of course, the Cleveland Browns?
No, I don't think any of them are going to go winless. I don't know if anybody seemed that bad. Although if you told me that Andrew Thomas was like out for the year or something, I would really love to know how the Giants ended up getting their win. I'd love to. I mean, I guess it would just be a low scoring game, and one game is one game.
They play the Dolphins, who we're going to talk about next. But before we get into that, just want to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at FanDuel, because they are getting you ready for the NFL season with an offer that you absolutely do not want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season is almost here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/podcast to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Disclaimer, must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins, baby.
Well, I have some breaking news.
Yes.
It is.
Kyle Shanahan told reporters that Brock Purdy could miss multiple weeks, and he's a long shot to play Sunday at New Orleans.
That is tough.
I don't have too much to say about it, but that is.
No, I mean it's that. I mean that's bad for the 49ers.
Kittle out too on IR.
Yeah,
bro. Blaiden, what did you say about their trainers, their medical staff?
Dude, I said this like 3 years ago, right? That like there are some teams where they just can't seem to stay healthy, and you have to wonder.
Have you kept up with the medical staff in San Francisco?
I have not, but I didn't even give that take about the 49ers. I gave it about the Titans, because the Titans, for like a 4-year stretch where they had the most money on IR like every single year, or were like top 5 in money on IR for like 4 consecutive seasons. And I'm just like, that's so bizarre. Like, what are the odds of that? It's like statistically improbable, it feels like. So I feel like there has to be something.
The every quarterback room is awesome take is my truest ever with ease. Now it's Mac Jones and Curtis Rourke. Like, we're not. It's just so interesting. It is. Yeah. Almost every QB in the league has some like interesting path / story. There's very few guys where it's like, oh, okay. And this is a great example of that. I mean, I guess we'll see. If you're going to be missing Purdy, Saints isn't a terrible matchup, but It's tough with how banged up they are, man.
We need this for the Saints agenda. This is the kinds of things that we need to break our way here at New Orleans FC. Well, I'm interested because Mac Jones was the guy that Shanahan reportedly wanted so bad instead of Trey Lance. So I'm excited to see them together and to see if Shanahan might have something special for us with his darling boy Mac, but probably not.
What did you think about his ACL? Didn't he?
That's an insane pull. If so, I don't know. Must have happened in preseason.
Yeah. He was playing through the torn ACL at Indiana. That's right.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
They're gonna have to.
He had like a thumb, like a finger thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dolphins. Theo, what did you think about Tua's performance?
Oh my God! Performance? I mean, he sabotaged the entire game for Miami, right? I mean, he was at his absolute worst. In fact, I think Miami could turn the season around if they bench him. Like, that was my takeaway from this week 1 performance. Like, right away, it seemed like they had something to cook with. Like, they had a fullback out there. They had Achane. They were in this heavy personnel, and they were still getting the too high look because it's cover 2 to Tyreek Hill's side no matter what. So it's like, okay, how can you lose this game against the Colts if you just with that alone? Like, let's just run it to Tyreek Hill's side with the fullback. We're gonna have gaps. We have Achane. Like, it's gonna be a good day on the ground. It's gonna be fine. And Achane did average like almost 8 yards a carry, but he only got 7 carries because they were playing from a hole. Because right away, Tua has Tyreek wide open on the signature dig, right? And he overthrows it right to the safety. Like, no pressure. Tyreek is there. We've seen him hit this a million times. And it just doesn't happen. It's picked. And that's just the kind of day it was. Like,
both the interceptions were pretty bad.
Horrible, right? Just horrible. Just not seeing things over the middle of the field or overthrowing things to the middle of the field. I mean, what does Tua give you at this point? Like, nothing. He doesn't give you any scrambling ability. He doesn't give you the timing at this point, or the accuracy. He's very limited when he attempting things outside the numbers. Like, he's backup caliber, and even as a backup, I feel like that performance wouldn't be acceptable. Like, I don't know, man.
It's tough. Like, you do have to sort of restrict your offense just for the sake of keeping him healthy already, it feels like. And then he can't even do the easy stuff anymore. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first interception. It's like, okay, bad overthrow over the middle or whatever. He had him. The second one, it's like, man, he was late on like drive over the middle, right? And it's like, man, if Tua is good at anything, it's throwing that stuff as early as possible. This great anticipation, right? So, yeah, I have a hard time disagreeing. If he's not giving you that, then it's just really, really tough to do just about anything. It is just one game, of course, as with literally everything we're talking about. But like, the results have not been good recently, and the team doesn't work if Tua is not consistently, like, absolutely total cash on that stuff, because that's I mean, it's like the entire selling point with him. So Miami's in big trouble.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I thought Jonah, last name I'm not even going to try, sorry everybody, but their rookie left guard that they took in the second round, like, he looked really good. Waddle looked really good. Like, he had separation all day. Like, Charvarius Ward could not cover him. Achane looked good. On the ground, they should have been efficient. Like, to me, this is a supporting cast that with a different quarterback could still do some damage, but they've got to have somebody who can get them the ball, and Tua just could not get them the ball. Now, the right guard, Keon, was it just Keon Smith? He was bad. Keon Smith. I saw Grover Stewart get the most dominant pass rush win I've ever seen on Keon Smith. That guy should never get any pressures. He like bull rushed him, like threw him away, got this big hit on Tua. It's like, okay, that's a problem. You can't really trust your guards to pass protect on Grover Stewart, much less DeForest Buckner, right? So it wasn't just Tua's issue in the pass game. Like, I think they're still gonna have problems, even if it's the backup Zach Wilson, obviously. But it just feels like everything is so tailored to Tua's limited skill set, and the league has figured it out. It figured it out years ago, and still has it figured out. Like, I there's just too many constraints. There's too many constraints. Lou Anarumo, I liked his game plan. I thought the Colts defense was way more interesting than it had been in the past. I'm excited about that aspect of their team going forward, but there's no way you should be letting the Colts blow you out like that week 1, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if Daniel Jones is looking like a really good quarterback, that's a problem.
Yeah. So Miami is up there with the Giants. Like, those two are kind of, the Titans are there too, I guess. But man, the Giants and Miami are like,
they're all definitely, I'd say, like top 5, maybe. I don't know, but it's all pretty rough, and it does feel like, I mean, the energy of the Dolphins, or like the vibes, I guess, if we want to get really like simple with it, it's not good, man. McDaniel's like is a little goofy in the press conferences still, and Tyreek is just like walking around mad all the time because the offense is falling apart.
How long does McDaniel have?
He could get fired this season.
He could get fired.
He absolutely get fired during the season.
Oh yeah,
100%.
If they're bad enough, look, I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, he has no amount of like great will built up at this point. He absolutely is on the hot seat. I mean, if the Dolphins started, I have no idea what their schedule is. I'm sure it's on the easier side, but if the Dolphins started, October 19th, they play at Cleveland.
I was thinking there's no. Here's the thing, right? The Browns are coming off of like the hardest 6-game stretch in the NFL, right? That is their 7th game of the season. The Browns could win that game, man. They could be fed up. That could be the game.
They've got some chances to get right.
Crazy.
They play the Patriots. They play the Panthers. They play the Jets. There's a lot of winnable games in here, and I think Tua can be better. I mean, I know we can. We know he can be better at doing the things he's good at, which is throwing with anticipation and letting his guys get a bunch of yak and the timing and stuff. But it definitely does feel like if you're fighting not to be like, what you were against the Colts today, it's not great. It's not promising.
Stephen Ross fired Joe Philbin after a 1-3 start back in 2015.
I don't think they're going to beat the Bills when they play them. I believe that's a Thursday night game.
It is.
That one would be tough.
I think if they start 0-4, if the week 4, or even apparently if they're 1-3, the clock is ticking on McDaniel, because this is an owner with a history of firing people early.
We'll see. I'm trying to like rein myself in from overreacting too much. Tua can play better than this, but nothing was like that great for them.
He can, yeah. I mean, he was playing some of the best ball of his career the back half of last season. I mean, I remember he came back, he played the Bills. That was the closest they ever came to, well, I guess they beat them when they were really hot when McDaniel first got there. But then they struggled and continued to lose all these big games. Like, he came back from that injury last year, played the Bills close. Like, they were in the hunt because they did turn the season around after that. Like, they didn't make the playoffs, but they were, there were scenarios, right, when Denver was kind of slipping a little bit late in the season. They lost to Cincinnati. Like, there were scenarios where the Dolphins could have made it, right? So, yeah, Tua didn't play. It's not like Tua hasn't been useful since 2021 or something like that. Like, he was useful at the end of last year. Things started to look a little bit better. So maybe they're not completely cooked, but man, did you hear what he said about Waller after I think earlier today.
I like glanced over that. What did he say? He's like,
He
it's
said,
bad, but like.
He said, this is on Waller's availability for week 2. He said, I expect to not know what to expect until later on this week. We may get to a point where we realize the risk is too great for the rest of the season, and we'll have to do what's best for the team. So basically, what's going on with Waller? I have no idea. He might never play again. Bad vibes, right? Like, that's your answer at tight end. Your other tight ends are Tanner. What's his name?
I think it's Tanner Connor, no?
Tanner Connor. You had see, it takes one of us to know the first name and the other one to know the last name. To piece together the starters on this roster.
Tanner McConnor kind of looks like Mike McDaniel.
Really?
I'm looking at the headshot. It's like kind of looks similar.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they got a similar like Mike face. McDaniel.
You do.
I could pull him off for Halloween.
I think you're better looking than Mike McDaniel, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
How would you rate McDaniel on a scale of 1 to 10?
How would I rate McDaniel on a scale of 1 to 10? Let me pull up a good picture of Mike McDaniel real quick, and we'll settle this debate once and for all. I give him like, I give him on a good day like a 7.
That speaks pretty well for me then. Thanks, Brandon.
I think so. But on a bad day, he's like a 5 or a 4.
I agree. McDaniel has good days and bad days.
So like, but like when he's got his sunglasses on and he's like cool, calm, collected on the sideline, he's got a little bit of aura.
He's an 8 when they win.
He's an 8 when they win, and
he's a 4 when he's stuttering through a press conference.
But he's got a pair of glasses that are like low key school shooter, and those make him more like a 4. And he's kind of got a receding hairline going.
School shooter glasses.
I'd be terrible at press conferences, bro. One thing that I feel very strongly about, and I'm saying this as a fan of a team who's been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
We rag on guys for like not saying the right thing. And don't get me wrong, like McDaniel doesn't always say the right thing. But when your team loses, like there's nothing the coach can say. If they're losing like their 3rd game of the season and they're 10-3, it's like, all right, whatever. But if your team has been bad for like 2 years in a row, I see all these fans, they always get like mad. It's like, well, that answer just doesn't cut it. It's like, well, right, but like nothing is going to cut it if you're 1-7. The press conference doesn't matter at all.
It's a formality. Like they literally have to be there.
I'm just saying, I think it's tough to win a whole lot back in those moments of the team.
Belichick used to always say, we're on to New York.
That's a better way to approach it. I think McDaniel, he doesn't do it. He's just himself, right? He's not doing anything wrong, but he just talks with way more filler words than you'd ever expect a coach to. Like, well, the thing about the loss is, we could have played a lot better. Like he just draws it out. I think I'd do it the exact same way as McDaniel, where I just kind of ramble and all my answers are way too long. I mean, listen to this podcast, man. Like, I would just go on and be like, well, it could have been this, but at the same time, it could have been that. And just, well, this other thing happened. So this all to say there's a lot. Like,
look, I'm sorry. I didn't want it to go like, and I'm sorry.
You'd storm out, Matt.
Matt is apologizing and storming out.
Matt would storm out.
I'd be incredibly sweaty. I would get fired mid-season year 2.
My girlfriend and I have been watching Gilmore Girls, and we just watched an episode where Rory and Paris are spoilers if you haven't seen Gilmore Girls. Rory and Paris are doing a debate for Chilton, and they're debating another school, and the team that they're debating has a former Chilton student there, and he sees Paris and Rory, and he immediately starts like getting the worst sweats you've ever seen, like sinking in his chair slowly throughout the show, Like he starts up here and he's just like tense and tight, and then by the end of the debate, he's just like all the way down in his chair. It's so funny. And that's how Matt would be at a press conference.
I don't think I'd be. I don't know if
his name is
I'd
Brad.
Be,
his name is Brad.
Well, his name is Brad, of course.
But
I would get fired in the middle of. I've never seen it.
Don't ever watch it.
You've never.
He just called your favorite show schlock. By the way, you're letting
Sophia. It's Sophia's favorite show, and she's gonna hear about this, man.
She should. Look. Cammy watches it all the time. It's a comfort show, whatever. I cannot stand that show.
Really?
The way Rory and Lorelai talk is like
Rory and Lorelai are the worst characters in the show.
It is sandpaper on my brain, dude. It's the term sickeningly sweet has never applied like it applies to like every interaction between like they're like.
No, here's the thing. Rory and Lorelai
cannot
are
stand it.
Horrifically bad communicators. They can't express how they feel to anyone ever. Like it's really hard to watch. My two favorite characters so far, we're about I think halfway through season 2, are Dean and Emily Gilmore. Those are my two favorite characters in the show right now.
I sort of rock with Paris.
People.
I sort of rock with Paris.
I get Paris.
I sort of rock with the grandma and grandpa, but I do not rock. I cannot like stand listening to Rory Gilmore talk at all, or Lorelai.
Rory and Lorelai piss me off a lot.
I don't like
They piss me off a lot.
Every other character in the show.
I'm waiting for the episode where Jess dies. That's what I'm waiting for.
I don't know who that is.
He's Luke's nephew.
I can only stand to listen to a little bit of Rory.
I like Lane.
Going back and forth.
Lane's cool. She knows music ball. So
we had this debate in the chat BCC. What is the best girlfriend show and what is the worst girlfriend show?
What are the girlfriend shows?
Just shows that girlfriends watch.
Okay.
Gilmore Girls is like the main one.
Okay.
And I'd say it's F tier. The best girlfriend show in this household, to me, I like Project Runway a lot.
I've never seen it.
There's some reality shows that are good. I like, but
yeah, it's the reality shows are not so bad. I mean, I've
never been a big fan of reality TV, so
I mean,
Project Runway is the best because it's reality, but it's not like total slop. Like people are being creative, and like you see them trying to like, design a dress with stuff from the grocery store or whatever. Like I can get down with this.
That sounds kind of.
I think it's somewhat real, like the
House
talent
Hunters and like those remodel shows. I've always enjoyed those.
Yeah, I can get down with HGTV.
I get mad at those, bro.
They choose the wrong.
That's the fun part when they do something really horrible to a house.
They choose the wrong. No. They choose the wrong house or something.
They choose the wrong house. Yeah, man. They spend $200,000 on a house in a worse area with less space, and it's like, dude, what's wrong with you? But
sometimes I get mad at the men in that show. They're like, I need this. It's like, bro,
they always have some like horrible
thing that they need. It's like, bro, just
matter.
They're the most stereotypical like man.
Yeah. The girl is like, this is everything that I ever dreamed of, and the man is like, but it doesn't have a barbecue pit, and I'm putting my foot down.
It doesn't have a. Where's my work shed?
This is not how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to live in the city. There's too much traffic. It's like, bro,
it's gonna make my commute to work so difficult.
Like, that's fine. Just say yes.
Valid. You don't commute to work, big dog.
Why would that make somebody else not wanting to make their commute to work?
You know what,
Blaiden?
You're right.
Matt says, "What about the men?"
What about the
Matt says men's rights.
First off, Matt doesn't say that. Second off,
Matt says men's rights when.
Matt says, while many of the men there, I think, have bad taste in what they want in a home, commute to work, that's not bad. I mean, spending a bunch of time in your car, not good. If it's a job you really like and it adds, an extra 45 minutes to the day like that, you gotta sit back and stroke your chin about that.
Yeah,
I would.
But if the home is goated,
well, it depends.
If it's
why
got
you weigh
else,
these.
Yeah, you weigh the options.
Well, now you're creating a scenario. Now you're completely derailing the point, man.
I'm creating a fabrication, and
you're a bad guy.
I am a bad guy. I am.
All right.
And you say men's rights.
Before we get out of here, there's one more football thing I want to steer us back to. So we've got 4 teams that
we also have the lock
panic.
to do.
Oh shit! Let's just do the locks. Whatever.
Okay. No, hit us at the football thing. We'll do it in like 2 minutes.
Okay. I said we have 4 teams that we've talked about. Like they should hit the panic button. The Bears, the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Titans.
Well, hit the panic button, and they were a disaster. Two different things. The 5th team is also. You could say the Texans' offensive line, or you could say the Panthers. Honestly, the Panthers had a really bad game.
I think you could also argue the Bengals a little bit.
They won.
They won. They always start slow.
They won, but like it was more like the Browns lost than the Bengals won.
They're not. That's not the biggest disaster. There's teams that lost by 3 scores.
That's true.
Here's mine. The Lions. The Lions. The Packers are good. The defense is going to be phenomenal. I think.
Based off of kind of relative to expectation, it's like, damn, we got cooked by the Packers. It's like, that sucks. I do think it's just week 1, and there could be a learning curve for the new OC, and you're missing major players, but it was definitely a tough look. However, I mean, we could give something for all of these teams. The Bears were a disaster this week, but I think Caleb could play better, be more consistent within a game, and improve. I'm not even that down on them. I think Tua could play better for the Dolphins, although I'm just pretty worried about the state of the team overall.
Right.
The Titans, I mean, the play calling's bad, but we didn't even hate Warden against a brutal defense. And the Giants could get Andrew Thomas back. If they don't, the offensive line is really, really, really bad. That's kind of this. That's my feeling on each team without trying to go too far. And I'll put my 5th team as the Panthers, because not only were they really bad, but they're my team and they were really bad. But even them, I think, we've seen Bryce play games where it's more of the good, accurate, and anticipation stuff, and less of the bad turnovers or whatever. And he's shown some ability to get out and make a play even when pressured. It's just maybe not as consistent as you'd want, because maybe he has a physical limitation. So
yeah. Panthers are very valid. But yeah, I think the Lions
defense is more concerning, where it's just it's just instantly you let up 200 yards.
Yeah.
That's bad.
But it would not surprise me to see Chicago be the big upset of this week over Detroit.
I don't think that's an invalid take. I think there's a lot. Here's the thing, and as we kind of get into the locks here, which, by the way, if you didn't notice, based on the graphic that we put out for last week's locks, they are brought to you by FanDuel, right? They're a good friend over at FanDuel, and we make these picks every single week with teams that we're locking to win. But I feel like week 2 is the hardest week, I think, is my take, because you get a little bit of information, and so it kind of starts to sway your thoughts on teams, and so you want to be I think it's easy to be more conservative in week 2 than any other week, just because there's a lot of uncertainty. Or maybe it's just this season, but I think my general take is week 2 is the hardest week in the Stay Hot locks.
Maybe, but let's get into those locks. So you and Matt both got 2 points. I got 0 because I locked the Bills, or I locked the Ravens against the Bills. The way these locks work is we draft teams. If the teams we draft lose, we don't get any points. And the draft goes on as long as we want it to go on. You can always drop out. You can draft 5 teams if you want. If there's a tie, things are moot. There's no elimination, but you also don't get any points. We can also challenge another's lock as one of our picks and get double points. I took an embarrassing L, so I don't get the pick first. You guys, I'm just going to pick somebody to go first. I'm going to pick you, Blaiden. Sorry, Matt.
I'm really glad you did pick me first, because I want the first pick, and I'm going to take the Ravens over the Browns in Baltimore. That to me is the easiest lock of the week.
Fair.
That's very valid. I'm gonna go. I'll go my good old Panthers to lose. I think Arizona.
And I knew you were gonna do that,
game.
Matt. I was telling Sophia
not
before.
only. I mean, it's them or Buffalo as the next two biggest spreads, which I rely on pretty greatly. And like if their run defense looks like it did against Jacksonville, I just don't think they're gonna pull off a big upset. So maybe it's improved. Maybe it was just a week one thing, but I'm going with the Cardinals. And if I'm wrong, good guys have won. So it's all
the good guys,
all positive no matter what.
So then, Theo, we'll see if you end up picking and you've got the swing here. We'll see if you end up picking the team that I projected.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills. I'm very sorry, Bills fans, for doubting you all. You know, I thought the Ravens were just gonna be too much of a juggernaut. I looked at this Bills defense and was like, there is no way. I was feeling pretty good about myself. All right, if y'all want the mental picture, I'm sitting there. I'm locking against the Bills. No one would have done it, and I was so right to do it. And then the Bills came back and won, and I was legitimately aghast. My smugness, they wiped a shit-eating grin off my face in a very satisfying way, I'm sure, if you were a Bills fan. So you can sit there and be satisfied with that mental picture in your head of me getting a little angry to end the Sunday night. But anyway, I'm going to give them their respect here. The Jets looked good, but I think the Bills will beat them.
I was gonna say, you don't have any faith in Justin Fields to maybe hang in this one.
I have faith in Josh Allen. Although I am concerned, the Steelers struggled with the combo of Fields and Brees in much the same way they struggled with Lamar and Henry from the previous wild card game. I'm a little bit concerned about the Bills defense facing that same combo after, not playing well at all against Lamar and Henry. But the Bills beat Baltimore. They can beat they can beat the Jets.
They beat Baltimore despite not playing well against that duo,
And then I'll also lock the Rams versus the Titans.
Okay. Matt?
I'll go Dallas over the Giants. I think Dak and that offense gets right. And with the Giants offense just so stagnant right now, even though I have some questions about Dallas's defense, if this game turns into a shootout, I trust the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I don't think
I was really hoping you wouldn't take that game because that was the only other game that I really had eyes on.
Dak is due.
So I'm out with just the Ravens.
See anything crazy that I want to do. I don't trust the Lions. I don't trust the Broncos. I don't trust the Vikings.
That's where I'm right there with you with everything.
I don't trust the Chargers. I think I'm out too. The crazy one that I'm thinking about is Packers over Commanders, but I don't think I'm there. I don't think they're locks.
Sophie asked me if I would lock the Packers. I'm like, no, I think the Commanders are still a little too good to lock against.
Yeah, 100% they are. Love got lucky that he didn't throw that pick six. If that didn't happen, maybe I would.
I have this might be a little ballsy. I don't know if I want to do it.
What are you thinking of?
I'm thinking Buccaneers over Texans.
Ooh. Maybe.
I'm just like, their offensive line is so bad.
It is cooked right now.
But I'm not. That's something I would do if I had to make up some ground. I don't think I'm going to do it.
All right.
Probably best to be a scared little baby.
I think so. I think it is best to be a scared little baby in this scenario. Matt, are you going to be out as well?
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like I'm only placing one bet this week, which is on the Ravens to beat the Browns. But then maybe I should also have them cover the spread because they probably, but it's like 11.5, dude. It's pretty tough, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is on the locks this week. So I gotta, this season. So not only is it for bragging rights and trying to keep up the order of Theo winning, then Blaiden winning, then Matt winning, but also trying to not lose money on the locks this year. So those are the Stay Hot locks. I'm taking the Ravens. Matt is taking the Cardinals and the Cowboys, and Theo is taking the Bills and the Rams. No challenges this week, no craziness, and unless there's a tie, everything should be normal. But until next time, that'll do it for another episode of Stay Hot. We'll be back to recap week 2 of the NFL season. We are not just here watching football, but we are now in the season. So it's going to be football every week until about mid-February, and it's going to be incredible. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and as always, from your 3 favorite fellas here, Matt, Theo, and Blaiden, we will catch you on the flippity flop.